Advanced English Arabic Learning Session 82. The book is fast-paced, exciting, and full of red herrings. A dried smoked herring, which is turned red by the smoke. Every businessman needs a tame lawyer at his elbow. Sadly tame affair, not a thing. Despite the rowdiness and alcohol, these are usually rather tame affairs. Compared with the second half, the opening half was a tame affair. The festival in her honor was a tame affair until a few years ago. The subpoena hearing, which is normally a tame affair, was contentious. Wild rabbits can be kept in captivity and eventually tamed. School choice would effectuate a transfer of power from government to individuals. The sort of junk that might come in handy one day. Coriander, an aromatic Mediterranean plant of the parsley family. A tight fiscal policy working in tandem with a tight foreign exchange policy. Tandem bedrooms mean that you have to walk through one to get to the other. The tandem bicycle designed to be ridden by more than one person. Poor rural economies turned to potatoes for sustenance. He kept 2 or 3 cows for the sustenance of his family. The minimum income needed for subsistence. Rights of occupation normally only continue during the subsistence of the marriage. The stunt involved jumping out of a hot air balloon while attached to a piece of elastic. News bulletin is a short news announcement concerning some ongoing news story. The Dome of the Rock is the place where Muhammad is said to have ascended into heaven. Bootstrapping refers to those who live or work with shoestring budgets. I popped into the butcher's in my lunch break to buy some chops for hubby's dinner. Babe. You can't go wrong with this staple, adored by both wives and hubbies alike. The puppy, which may have rabies, is at a quarantine kennel, dog shed. Exhaust emissions are mainly responsible for the smog. Mist and fog are caused by water droplets in the air. Fog only happens when a nearby volcano is releasing sulfur dioxide into the air. There was a layer of fog hanging over our side of the island this morning. Fog, volcanic fog, is a specific type of air pollution that comes only from volcanic activity. Smog is the stuff that will make you cough and burn your eyes. Smog is blend of smoke and fog. Smog is what happens when pollution causes low-lying ozone. The cold air has no pollution and very little haze. Haze is the reflection of sunlight off air pollution. I'm a terrible insomniac. I often write from 4 in the morning to 7. Common causes of insomnia include stress and irregular sleep schedule. We will boycott all banks which take part in the loans scheme. An advert urges consumers to boycott the firm's coffee. There was the foreknowledge of every role she would dance. He tried to elude the security men by sneaking through a back door. There is no reliable evidence that segregating student sex improves learning by either sex. He would have given her all this without a blink. Out on the marshes there was a blink of light. Software that would do lots of boring calculations in the blink of an eye. She can get very blinkered when going for something she wanted. A number line can be extended infinitely in any direction. They won't believe I've shacked up with someone so good looking. A group of companies trolling for partnership opportunities. What are social media trolls? They're people who deliberately provoke others online. While the oven is preheating, sugarcoat the cookies. The filmmaker's proficiency is overpowered by their tendency to sugarcoat the material. She came closer, her skirt swaying and rustling. A murdered rancher whose cattle were being rustled. See if you can rustle up a cup of coffee for Paula and me, please. Charioteer is the driver of a chariot. Who drives animals that pull a vehicle. Men and women hailing from the Ukraine were found to be the most attractive. I love my grandma so much and cherish the time we get to spend together. The hotel has a pleasant atmosphere and attentive service. They are attentive, truly present, and deeply invested in their wives' happiness. A portmanteau is a large traveling bag, typically made of stiff leather and opening into two equal parts. The union is preparing to ballot its members on industrial action. Over half of those polled do not believe the Prime Minister usually tells the truth. A poll is used to ask one simple question. A survey is generally used to ask a wide range of multiple questions. A questionnaire is any written set of questions. Straw polls and honor system polls are conducted among self-selected populations. The candidates tried to gin up support at the straw poll. Notices of agricultural sales are an irresistible lure for hicks and hayseeds. The referendum is a general vote by the electorate on a single political question. 75% of the electorate voted for a Scottish Parliament in some form. 75. The law disenfranchised some 3,000 voters on the basis of a residence qualification. Dozens of lightning bolts lit the night sky as an electrical storm swept the region. The confidence is brewing in Southern California. The job came like a bolt from the blue, a sudden and unexpected. For women who have had a baby, the cervical cap is less effective. Check the position of your cervix before inserting the cervical cap. My voice tapered off as I realized that none of the others were singing along. The animals are finely tuned to life in the desert. They couldn't sing a note in tune, with correct pitch or intonation. Retailers are becoming more in tune with what the consumers want. The treble oboe was woefully out of tune. He was out of tune with conventional belief. You must tune into the needs of loved ones. Tune in next week and find out, watch or listen to a television or radio broadcast. It's important to be tuned into your child's needs. He was in debt to the tune of £40,000, amounting to. The wood should be rubbed down with fine abrasive paper. Her abrasive, harsh, and arrogant personal style won her few friends. Porthole is a small window on the outside of a ship or aircraft. I did not get where I am today by sitting on my duff, a person's buttocks. He tried to make it up to her, try to compensate. We found him tired-eyed and peaked, not a man for josh and chatter. Nothing dejects a trader like the interruption of his profits. Like I'm on a pedestal and he worships me, I hate that. If you idolize a girl and put her on a pedestal, she will sense it instantly. He idolized his mother, admire, revere. His anger and frustration had been bottled up for years. I have just received a mail shot from another firm. They sent out a mail shot to all their existing customers. Unscrupulous logging companies assisted by corrupt officials. A backup copy will be needed if the original copy becomes corrupted. I was saluted with 2 hearty smacks on my cheeks, a loud kiss. Jessica smacked his face, quite hard. Morgan drank half the scotch and smacked his lips. The government's refusal to reconsider their decision is another smack in the face for those workers. They sparked up in a no-smoking area, light a cigarette or joint. Students who gave obviously rehearsed answers were marked down. Mashed potatoes are peeled potatoes, boiling water until just tender. Smashed potatoes is your countrified tater mix of flesh and skins. A dish of boiled taters. The potatoes are still simmered in boiling water, but still wearing their tight jackets. Smash is the sound of a violent impact, a violent striking together. I'm too tired to come home, can I pad down bed down here tonight? He raised his arms to permit the officer to frisk him. He jumped bail and was on the run until his arrest. If a defendant can post bail and presents no threat, he should be allowed to await trial at home. When we started bailing, the boat was filled with water. I will join the Sunday Mass with the family. The Catholic Church teaches that you have an obligation to go to Mass every Sunday. People snuggle to warm each other up or to be affectionate. The children snuggled up to their mother to get warm. She snuggled under the blanket and listened to the rain. I went on the reef walk and got my flojos wet, the slippers tourists wear. I clocked nearly 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep, a tame. Being a late bloomer isn't a bad thing. Everybody is different, following their own path. Girls who show clear signs of puberty. She skived off school early to meet her friends. I do want to get married, but down the road, not anytime soon. 2 years down the road, you might feel very differently. They couldn't predict the disastrous war looming a few years down the road. Scotch the wheels, placing a wedge underneath. Blister is a small bubble on the skin filled with serum and caused by friction, burning, or other damage. It is a rare skin disease in which the skin sloughs off. Our mother's house was smack in the middle of the city, exactly, precisely. Slap bang in the middle of town, the rents are high. His boss deducted the money from his pay, that was a bit off. There's no one there except the barmaid, and she's a bit off, unfriendly or hostile. Supposedly loyal workers suddenly upped and offed to the new firms. You can't have ups all the time in football. What does cabbage patch mean for children? Are you ready to shed your preconceived notion about your limitations? A strip mall is a type of open-air shopping center common in North America where the stores are arranged in a row. He has already put out feelers to local employers. The Prime Minister put out feelers to members of other parties. The companies have been putting out feelers about a merger. The perfect fitspiration for anyone wanting to tone up. His leg muscles has toned up. She had been instructed from birth in the equality of all sentient life forms. I agree with your sentiments regarding the road bridge. Emma tried to think of a ruse to get Paul out of the house. After 9 months of chemo, her hair has grown in again, chemotherapy. When they rescued him, he was suffering from frostbite. Frostbite is injury to body tissues caused by exposure to extreme cold, often resulting in gangrene. They denounced him as a turncoat. A person who deserts one party or cause in order to join an opposing one. The ivy is a woody evergreen Eurasian climbing plant. Freeloader, a person who takes advantage of others' generosity without giving anything in return. Claiming that she misspoke, she served up a second explanation. The end. Coming next. Session 83.